Well, thanks for being here. I know it wasn't an easy road to get here, so thank you so much for being here. And I couldn't think of a better person to kick off this portion of the agenda and to talk about the story of Baltimore and the voice of Baltimore than you. So thank you, Dee, for being here and being with us and lending your voice to this discussion. I wanted to talk to you first just a little bit about, you have emerged as a voice, particularly for young, voiceless people in our city. And I want to just talk to you a little bit about your own story and what it was like coming of age in Baltimore for you, and just get a little bit, for everyone here, a little bit about your background.
So I have to be really, really clear when I answer questions like that, because I'm not the voice, I'm just one voice. I'm just one person. There's a lot of times these issues and these problems, and I've heard some really amazing things going on today, but these issues and these problems, they don't really get solved because we think we can just put everybody into a box. Not saying that that's what you're doing, but, oh, that's D. Watkins, so he knows all about, whatever, selling drugs, and then stop selling drugs and going to college and all that, and that's not really the case. I'm just one person, and I just try to work really hard to make sure there's other opportunities from other people coming out of Baltimore to tell their own stories. Because it's not enough of us telling our own stories. And as you all probably know, this looks like a pretty smart crowd. If you're not telling your story, then you're giving society the space to kill you.
And so how do we nourish the story? And how do we get people and give people the capacity and the space and the room to then give their voice to the story?
So there's a lot of different ways we can do it, and I think this isn't one of those battles that we can solve with like a quick panel, and it's not one of those things that I can fully answer. But I will say the classroom has been most effective for me. The classroom has been most effective for me. My first book, The B-Side, is being taught in pretty much every high school across the city, even though it's like not on a curriculum, it's not guaranteed or approved by North Avenue or anything, but teachers use it because kids like it. They like it, they read it, and then guess what? They get excited about telling their own story. And through that process, we're getting young critical thinkers, we're getting young historians, we're getting young people who are understanding their own realities and where they come from and how our city ended up in the position that it's in right now. So it's like that has been most effective for me. I don't know. I'm sure there's other people out there doing other cool stuff too, but what we do is some schools buy the books, we donate tons of books to other schools, and as long as I can get the books to your students, I come in and teach workshops, have talks, and do all the cool stuff that I didn't really have when I was coming up. I'm from East Baltimore too. My accent didn't give it away.
And so, you're obviously now, coming in and using your literature and your voice and encouraging others to do the same. What were the influences in your life, and how is it that we can create more positive influences, whether it's through your outreach in schools? Who are the people that are going to be motivating sort of the next generation of thinkers and sort of the people that are going to be writing the story for other young men in East Baltimore?
So I think it's crazy because everything influences everything all of the time. And I think a lot of times when we look for these big influences, then we skipping past the everyday people that do amazing things. Like one of my biggest influences was my grandmother. She was a really, really, really strong person. So when I hear people talk about that fear narrative, and the narrative of being in fear of living in a place like that, she never showed that. She was strong. The neighborhood respected her. Her family respected her, of course. And she built the foundation for us to respect ourselves and for us to always want more. So I think a lot of times we get caught up. We get caught up in some of the big names that flash. Like this is Taylor Branch. I read a Taylor Branch book in undergraduate. I switched my major to history. I never met this man a day in my life, right? But if I wasn't in a position to be able to receive that book or to be able to have a person put it in context for me, then maybe those things wouldn't happen. Maybe I wouldn't be writing right now. Maybe I'd be, maybe I wouldn't be in a wheelchair. No, I'm just joking. But I think we got to look at our everyday heroes and our everyday people that surround us and people that's connected to us and people that's like that's in our communities. Like I think we gotta show more love to them, because a lot of times, I know a lot of you guys look like you were able to vote when Reagan was president, and nothing ever trickles down ever. Like, so all of the real work, from my opinion, is done from the bottom up. So it's like I know more people. Like I got a friend named Tony who's like every weekend he's doing really well as a personal trainer. So he's out in the neighborhood helping people who can't afford that train for free. I know other friends that do the same thing with nutrition, financial literacy, and things like that. I do mine with books. So none of us are super duper millionaires. None of us, we don't have our names in light, and we'll never win activists of the universe, and none of us care because we're working with the people that matter, and that's key. Quantifiable goals. Who can call your phone and borrow $20? Who can call your phone and get help with a resume? When Freddie Gray was alive, could he call you up and ask for a recommendation, or would you cross the street when you saw him? They're the real questions. For me.
And, I think that without mentioning, post Freddie Gray, the narrative has shifted for the coming of age story in Baltimore. And there is.
But not for us, though. Not for us. Everything you guys seen over the last month with the police officers planting evidence with their little video, with their little body cams, everything you see, I've been writing about that dude, Daniel Herschel, for 4 years now. He finally went to jail. Like, we've been writing about this dude for the longest time. So it's like, these things aren't new. These things, the only thing that's changing is the people who so-called want a seat at the table. And all of these people that want a seat at the table, they don't want to flip the table over and invite more people. They just want that comfy seat. And this is why we don't see things change. That's why any and everything you'll ever see me affiliated with is going to be some hands-on work with somebody that's trying to get from A to B. And that's the most strong thing we can do. But please don't think the narrative in the city has changed, because it hasn't. Because these things happened after Freddie was dead.
And so
wouldn't you think if the cops under scrutiny, they wouldn't be planting drugs with a camera? Wouldn't you think these dudes wouldn't be going around robbing strippers after you already know, like, this got national attention? This is why y'all here right now. And these dudes out here is robbing strippers. Read the indictment. Nothing, it hasn't changed, but that doesn't make us exempt from doing the work. We won't see the type of change that we want to see while we're alive, but it doesn't make us exempt from trying to make a difference any way that we can every day.
And so how do we do it?
Proximity to the issues and being accessible to the most vulnerable people who could use your help the most.
And I couldn't think of a better note to end it on. Thank you so much, D. Watkins.